Hey guys, welcome to my October vlog. Today is actually September 30th, but since I've already processed my other video, we are going to include this clip in October. So someone had asked about the pieces that I'm taking to auction, or my dad is. This is all of them. I'm not going to go through each one of these because it took me a bit to get them all in here, but all of these I am giving to him to take to auction that I just want to start fresh, and yeah, still saved quite a bit. What, 26 pieces? But I don't have any stitching progress. But what I am going to show you, because someone also asked, is how I print on the perforated paper, how I print it as a color. So there is a pattern. Get some light in here. There is a pattern, which is this one from Etsy, called There's a Little Witch in All of Us. And the original colors were, I want to say it was this with gray and black, and I was like, nah, I want to do mine with orange paper, and then I'm going to do purples and black. So all of this gray will be shades of purple. So I thought that would look really good on an orange colored paper. So we are going to look for an orange colored paper. So let me close out of my work stuff and get you guys propped up here so I can show you. So all I did was, and I'm going to have to hold it once I type it in there. All I did was I came on Google and I put in like royalty-free image. I'm going to put in orange ombre and we'll see what pops up. And then all I did, Free Pick is like the one I used before, I think. You could click images, and that's what I did because there's all different shades of orange, obviously. This one looks good right here. I like that one. I could even do this one. That's Shutterstock. I'd probably have to pay for that. You know, obviously, oh, here's one. I'm trying to find one that I don't have to pay for. So I'm going to click on the website and look at all of them. So it's just about picking one. I'm actually going to look at this one. And then I'm going to download it. So when I download it, it downloads it to my desktop. And I click on it. This is the color. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this on my printer. So what I do, I have an HP DeskJet 2755E. Now I need to pause because I need to cut this to an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I need to cut it the size of my piece of paper so it will go on my printer properly. So let me pause and do that. Okay, so I've cut my piece of paper, and all I do is put it in here like I'm putting in a piece of paper. And then when I hit print on here, print, I select photo paper. I did that the first time because paper is lightweight. Photo paper is a little thicker. That's definitely thicker. And then I hit print. You're going to see it print. It does take a minute. But it will do it. And I'm always like, I always cross my fingers. I will kind of push down on it just a little bit to get it in there. But it will print it. I can't wait to see what it looks like. That's a really pretty orange ombre. I was amazed the first time I did this. I printed the brown one that I showed in a previous video. I printed like a pink one. And then I'm doing, this will be my third one. It's all about just finding the right image online that you want to do and having an inkjet printer because, oh, it's coming out. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Can you see it? You can see it. I mean, I don't know how I didn't think of this before. You know, I literally have tried everything under the sun to color perforated paper. I've painted it. I've used the distressed oxide inks. I've used markers. I've used literally everything. I mean, this is just perfection. Like I said, I don't know how I didn't think of it before. Now, does it use up a lot of ink? Probably. I actually belong to HP Instant Ink program where you say you print so many pages a month and they send you ink. Your printer is tied to their server, so they know what you're printing and how much ink you're using. And they send you ink when you're running out. Am I running out of ink? No. It just takes, like I said, a few minutes to print it because I selected photo paper, so it thinks it's printing a picture. But literally any kind of color I can think up and I can find a picture for, I can print on white paper. You might even be able to print on other color paper, like especially ecru or like the buttermilk yellow. Anything that's light colored. It may even give a different effect if you print on something that is not white. But yeah, this pattern, it's very deceiving. It doesn't look big, but it actually is much bigger than you think. The count is 162 by 108. So on 18 count, it's 9 by 6. So that's why I decided to do it on 18 count paper. And all I'll do is just cut off. See how there's like a white border? I'll just cut that off. It should be almost done. Now it looks like, unlike when it did on the 14 count, it looks like there are little dots. It's amazing though. I mean, what? Let me try to, that looks unbelievable. It's hard to show you. It looks so much better in person. It's amazing. I mean, look at that. It's darker in person. It's going to look amazing on that. I'm blown away. I am just blown away that this has done this. So this is how I do it, guys. Very, very simple. I will see you in the next clip. Hey guys, today is Thursday, October 2nd. And today is going to be more of a chatty, talking segment than a stitching or showing you anything. I don't have any stitching progress. I know. I'm hoping to stitch some today. I haven't even started the ye old crow yet. Just too much house stuff going on and things going on. But I thought I'd come on here and talk to you guys for a little bit. I do have I did get the wee one heart and hand for this year. It's called Love and Peace from Abby Top Knot Stitcher. Love that so much. Look at that cute little snowman. Yeah, love this so very much. And then I did buy a cross stitch pattern on Etsy yesterday or the day before. I'm going to put a picture up here because when I literally downloaded the pattern, there's no like cover photo. It just has the pattern. And it says, "Oh, Fudge." If you've seen A Christmas Story, this would be such an easy stitch, I think. It's so very cute. Like, absolutely going to stitch that. Okay, so let's talk about the house and moving and all of your guys' comments. Thank you so much for those that commented about how they can sympathize, how difficult moving is and what we're doing is, and giving me your own stories with it. So it makes me feel not so alone in all of that. These last 2 days, I have felt the most at peace with everything. So a couple days ago, because we had drywall repair done in the house, we're having a new back door put in. Today, a window guy came. Like, it's just so much. I had to wind up taking the decals off of the wall in the library. And so I did that. What's today? Thursday. I did that on Tuesday. And when I was doing it, I felt such a feeling of depression. And, you know, someone had asked about the decals. So the decals in the library came off very, very clean, but they're not reusable. I had to throw them away. The decal in my craft room also will come off the wall very cleanly. If it starts to look like it's not, all I do is take my heat gun and heat up the adhesive a little bit and it will peel off very, very easy. That's what I did downstairs in my bedroom because I had a decal down there. Galatians 6:9, the quote about reaping, don't grow weary in reaping, or don't go grow weary in doing good things because you will reap in due time. But so I did that, and you know, everything's covered up out there because, like I said, we've had drywall repair in that room. And I got in bed that night and I said, okay, why is this bothering me so much, right? Why am I so, my hair is just, why am I so bothered by all of this? And then it hit me because I'm grieving for those rooms, right? Because Bill still has his shed outside. In this house, these rooms where I spend, 95% of my time in the house, these rooms are what I had. So I am mourning the loss of my lavender walls and nothing on the walls. My needlework is in totes. I'm mourning the loss of the library per se, with nothing is on the wall in there. My bookshelves, the tops are cleared off. The books are still on the shelves, but I got rid of one of the bookshelves, the one I had underneath the window. And it really hit me. I am grieving that loss. And so I need to allow myself to do that, right? So I was talking to my friend Becky about it, who just listens and understands and sympathizes. And she said, you have to realize that you don't know what new house you're going to have. You may be able to recreate those spots in that house even better than what you had in this house. She's right. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, will I do those decals in the new house? I don't know. I don't know what kind of space or what's going to be happening. So maybe if I can, yeah. When I planned out the library, it took me a while to plan it out, but it really came to fruition how I had it in my mind. And the same thing with the craft room. I'm so thankful. The craft room, because there are no holes in the walls, and Bill just redid that 3 years ago this December, we don't have to do anything in there. No painting, no nothing, because he just did that. And everything that's on the walls is done by a 3M hook. So there is no holes. So that room is going to stay intact until we are packing and moving. because he said, you need a room. You need a sanctuary. Yes, I do. Because the rest of this house looks like we just moved in and we haven't unpacked yet. Seriously. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone who left comments about it's going to be okay. It's hard. Yes. And it also hit me the other night when I was laying in bed that, it's never about the thing. It's the thing under the thing. As in, Janine Roth is one of my favorite speakers, and she's a book author. She mainly focuses on weight, but she puts a human spin on it. And I've read a few of her books. She did a post. I follow her on Facebook. She did a post that was titled like The Yellow Purse. And she talked about how she had coveted this yellow purse. She researched it, how much it was, imagined herself with it, all these things, right? Things that we do when we buy things all the time. Well, I think she bought the purse and then it loses its luster, right? Because you have it. And she said, it's never about the purse. It's always what's the feeling underlying the purse. And she said, that's what you have to figure out for yourself. Like, what's the feeling? What are you trying to feel by buying this thing, by doing this thing? And it hit me. And I talked to Bill about it yesterday, and he understood, I think. But, my whole life, everything I've done, the overspending, the overeating, anything that's been in excess, it's been me trying to find peace, right? Because childhood growing up, no peace with an abusive stepfather. So no peace there. No peace married to my first husband, who was a very critical person towards me. I could not do anything right. So I was never enough, never this, didn't clean the house right, didn't do this right, did nothing right. So no peace there. And so I've always just been searching for that. And I said, I have to find a way to navigate this, to find that peace, right? And so I found this book on Kindle Unlimited called Zen Stories. And in the beginning, they give you like an introduction, and it said that it had this quote, and it just, how some things just resonate with you when you read them. It said, let go or be dragged. I'm going to put a picture of a mug up here. I know we got rid of so much stuff, and I was like, I'm not buying anything else. I went searching for actually a cross stitch pattern with that saying. And I almost was going to design one myself, but I didn't. But I found a mug with this written on it, and I bought it. It was $12 on Etsy. It's going to be my new favorite mug. So, let go or be dragged. What does that mean? That means that you have to let go of what you cannot control. Because if you don't let go, if you push back, if you resist, you're going to be dragged into that. You're going to be dragged through it anyway. So you need to let go. I love that so much because it's right. If I don't let go of the process of what we're doing in this house with getting this repaired, selling it, all of that, I'm going to be dragged through it anyway, and I'm going to be kicking and screaming because I don't want it to go. I feel it should go a different way than it's going. Doesn't matter what you feel, right? And that's where all human suffering comes in. Human suffering comes in when something doesn't go the way we think it should go. I mean, let go or be dragged. And it's like when I searched on Etsy for that saying, there are rings and t-shirts. There is so much with it on there. Like, how have I never heard of that statement? Let go or be dragged. Yep. So yeah, I'm coming to terms with it. I'm finding my own way to have peace with it. So some of you also commented about my cross-stitch pieces that I'm giving to my dad to take to auction and being careful of getting rid of ones that are regretting it. I spent a lot of time when I pulled everything off the walls. I sat for a good long while in going through these pieces and really figuring out what I wanted to keep. Because essentially, this is going to be a huge new chapter for Bill and I. We will, moving from this house and getting a new house means having a house that 2 other wives haven't lived in. I'm Bill's 3rd wife. His other 2 wives lived in this house with him. And I said, I've done so much needlework and it's been on my walls for 15 years. I said, I want to start over with pieces. So I thank you for your concern, but I have definitely taken the time, and with the pieces I've saved and with the ones I'm sending with my dad to auction. And, the way the auction works, if it doesn't sell, we don't get it back. So I'm not going to see any of those pieces ever again. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I could not take all of that stuff with me and hang it. One thing that I didn't show you that I did keep was Elizabeth, the diamond painting. I'm never getting rid of that because I spent $230 on the frame for it. The frame weighs like 30 pounds. It's the most amazing diamond painting I've ever done. Of course, I'm keeping that one forever. And that will have to have a nail, obviously. It's so heavy to hang it. So I will have to find the perfect spot in the new house for that. But yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot over the last couple weeks. But we're getting there. We are getting there. And, Bill and I had a talk too about what my limitations are as far as helping him. Bill's very physical. He can do the labor. Me, I'm not cut out for physical work. I will clean anything for you. I will vacuum something. I will do paperwork. I will look something up on the computer. I will order something for you. But breaking down our canopy, which we have to do outside, I can't. And lifting heavy furniture, no. That's not me. So he realizes that now. We really talked about that. So will I help him with the painting once we get downstairs? Yeah, it's going to be such a big space, but the time is going to be limited. Bill is now on a different work schedule. He now works 3/10, so he is off every Monday and Friday. So, which is going to be good with getting the stuff done here because he'll have an extra day off. But yeah, I can't do the physical heavy stuff. And I don't want to. I don't want to do it. I don't like doing stuff like that. So the window in my office, there's something wrong with it where it has the top glass has to be replaced. And the gentleman was coming today. Now, I have to say, I like having Bill here when contractors are in the house. I like him to handle that because he knows what's going on. He knows what needs to be done. However, that wasn't able to happen this time. Yesterday, we had the contractor come in with one of his workers, and they were the ones that did the drywall. They were here for 4.5 hours, and I stayed in my office the whole time because, they're sanding, and they even installed a new faucet in our bathroom. The guy is really nice. Bill knows him from playing poker, so it was nice to find a company where you know the person. That went really well. That went just fine. And then the window guy. So this morning, they were supposed to come between 10 and 12. I had just gotten out of the shower it was like 8:05. And I'm like half dressed. My hair's wet, no makeup, nothing. Bill calls me and says, "Are you dressed?" And I said, "Why?" He's like, "The guy's going to be there in 6 minutes." What? I said, "Well, I need to hang up because I need to get dressed." So got dressed, and so I have a Ring camera. So I always watch for these people until they're almost to the door, and then I'll go answer the door. So I see the guy, and he pulls up in what looks like, how you can rent a van at Home Depot? I'm like, okay. I see him looking in the front seat, opening the door, looking in there, looking in the back, going around, doing this like 6 times. And I'm like, what the actual fuck is he doing? Finally, he comes to the door. And he says, "Good morning." And he's like, do you have a tape measure I can borrow while I'm in your house? Yes, I have one in my office. And so he proceeds to tell me something along the lines of, yesterday his truck broke down, his work truck, and needs a new transmission. That's why he has the Home Depot van. He forgot his tool bag. Okay. He's like, I was ready to go to Home Depot to get like a tape measure. I said, no, you can borrow mine. So that took all of 5 minutes because all I had to do was measure the window, and I learned his whole life story in those 5 minutes. And, you know, I give people grace when they talk like that, because I feel like when people will tell strangers stuff like that, they really need to talk to somebody. That's how I see that now, instead of an irritation, which is how I saw it before. The guy was very nice, and he's like, okay, we'll call your husband with the estimate. He goes, and I will be the one to come back and fix it. And I was like, okay, great. And he thinks it's not going to cost very much, which is awesome, because the money we have put out in the last month fixing all this stuff, good night. Yeah. Okay, someone asked about my purse. So I've had Kate Spade purses for many years now. This one I've had for a good number of years. I get them off eBay because I think I only paid $70 for this, when retail they're like $100 or more. I love the glitter though. And this is even in, it's like rose gold, and my wallet matches because I'm bougie like that, right? See, the wallet matches. Yeah. Love it. I will have this purse until it's falling apart. The other one I had was pink and the bottom was glitter. It started falling apart. The strap started to peel. The glitter was coming off on the bottom. But I always go looking on eBay or something because you can always get them cheaper. Candles. So you guys know how I won the Scentsy burner at the retreat in New Jersey. And that was God's doing. I'm so thankful I won that, because I would have never discovered Scentsy tart warmers or the burn or the, you know, the wax melts if I hadn't won that, because it came with 2 things of wax melts. So these are the best wax melts I've ever used as far as the scent and being able to cleanly get them out of your container. Now, since moving everything, I wanted to bring my tart burner because I have one in my office, one for the library, one in craft room, and then one downstairs, one in my bedroom. The one that was in here in my office, I'm like, where is it? So I went looking for it because I wanted to burn something. Well, there's a couple different ways you can get rid of, you can change your wax. You can either freeze it and pop out the disc. You can let it soften up and get it out with, this is a Scentsy spatula I got. This is like a rubber, but you could use any kind of rubber. You can scoop it out with this. You can put alcohol, rubbing alcohol in the bottom, and it will kind of dissolve it if you have residue. But so I turned it on to soften it up and promptly forgot about it. I was playing bingo on my iPad. I was doing stuff on the computer. And then all of a sudden I'm smelling the wax melt and I went, dang it. So then it's liquid. And I thought, okay, I have 2 choices here. One, I can put it in the freezer and let it freeze up and pop it out. Or I can try another method that I saw online. So she used cotton balls, but I have these for when I take off my nail polish. These cotton rounds. So you just put these in the wax and it soaks it up. It worked. It worked very well. So I did that this time. And then changed the scent. The scent I'm using this time is watermelon tangerine. It smells magnificent. It's so, it smells so good. My favorite is the rose though, is the one that I had won with the tart burner. That's my favorite one. I love that one so much. But yeah, that's all I got. Next time, I hope to have some stitching progress. And over the course of this month, I'm going to be reading a true crime story, probably just face-to-face. I like to read The Candyman Killer every year because it is one of my favorite true crime stories, and it surrounds Halloween. So we are in the month of October here. Halloween is at the end of the month. And Halloween's on a Friday this year. So going to be out in full dribs. We have a lot of kids that come around this neighborhood. So But I hope you guys are all doing well and stitching or diamond painting or doing all that fun stuff. And thank you again for all of your kind comments about the move, because God just get me through it, right? Yeah. So I will see you guys in the next segment. Hey guys, today is Tuesday, October 7th. It's been a time over here. Still doing house stuff. It has been very difficult and stressful. That's the only way I can put it. I've done a tiny bit of stitching, so I was going to show you that. But what I wanted to show you was nothing related to stitching. I found a really good lunch. We went to Costco yesterday. I love Indian food. Bill doesn't care for it too much. But Costco has this, is it Suki's brand? And they have their chicken tiki masala, which I love. This is butter chicken. So it has the rice and the chicken. 3 bowls, I think, were $12. I only ate half of this, so this will be lunch again tomorrow. Delicious. Wonderful. And then I've been trying to get away from drinking soda. I don't really drink full sugar soda once in a while, but I love Crystal Light, and I tried this one, and I absolutely love it. So this is something new that I saw called Mixology. So the different ones in there are watermelon margarita, blackberry mojito, and Mai Tai. They are all delicious. And I love the Mai Tai one most. But I wanted to show you what I was doing in my craft room because, you know, I know you guys were like, be careful of getting rid of too much stuff, right? I literally feel like I'm just burning it all down to the ground, like starting over from scratch when we move. I'm going to shut this door. This is the only room that is intact. This is the only room. And it's going to stay like this until we move because I need a sanctuary, right? So I have listed some stuff on eBay. I actually sold my roller frame scroll rod set. I never use it. Haven't used it in years. I have, let me flip you around. I have my Lowry actually on eBay. I never use this. If I'm going to stitch with a stand, I still kept my Lowry table clamp because that, I really like doing that, being able to stitch at my desk. And I still have my Velky Petite that I'm keeping. But so I listed that. I have 3 Lego kits listed. And then I also listed this set of roller frame scroll rods because I never use them either. No. I wanted to explain or show you, I have just been on a kick for organizing. So this is the closet in my craft room. And so the only 2 kits that I kept were that one, what's it, Plum Blossom, and then the typewriter, of course. So the typewriter I will be doing when we move. I'm going to put it together because 2 of my Lego kits broke in transitioning and getting things off shelves. But see this is my StitchMate. Bill didn't want me to sell it, but I wanted to take it apart. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, that was Bill coming home. So what I wanted to do, because I wanted to keep things as compact and organized as I could for moving, but also just to be organized, right? Instead of just having this loose in the closet. So I took it apart as much as I could. Now this are the scroll rods for it, and this is just my contact paper that I put on the back of my diamond paintings. I wanted a bin that would fit this and that would look good. I'm going to put a picture of the bin that I found. I think it was $45. I can't wait to get it. It got good reviews. It's going to fit in the closet. It's going to keep everything nice and neat, and I can even set stuff on top because it has a lid. So, stitching. I decided to do the Primrose Cottage Stitches freebie. Give thanks from last year. I absolutely love it. Now, see how that pumpkin is white? This is the paper that I printed. It's the paper that I had printed for Mouse's Strawberry Jam. I decided, let me make sure it's going to focus. I decided to do the pumpkin in pink, which I actually really like it. It is DMC 3716 because the white just wasn't showing up on here. It really wasn't. So I'm going to do the pink. And then I am using, it's only a couple colors. For the stems of the pumpkin, or the stem of that pumpkin, Weeks Dye Works Indian Summer. The green is Weeks Dye Works Grasshopper, and then Gassed Fragrant Cloves. I think that's what they called for. No, they used All Classic Colorworks. But I love, that's a little better. I love all of those colors. This orange is one of my favorite oranges. So, and then I'm going to do, you know me, I got to add sparkle, right? I am going to do the stem of this pumpkin in the Petite Treasure Braid. So that's going to look awesome. Now, I think it's coming tomorrow. I actually bought something. I know I've gotten rid of so much, but if I buy something for organizing my craft supplies, I'm very pleased, right? I bought something to organize my Petite Treasure Braid. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's amazing. So I will be showing you that when it comes in the mail. But yeah, whoopsie, as I'm tripping over things. I was able to, good God. I was able to do a little bit of stitching yesterday, and it was much needed because I haven't really stitched since the retreat. And it has just been a really difficult time here with all of the home repairs we've been doing and going. And let me flip you around here and I'll tell you. Yesterday, we had a little scare. Where can I set this? So, a minute. There we go. Okay. So, in our backyard, we had a big canopy that was metal. And then we had a patio set. Well, the patio set is rusting. So Bill and I decided, and the canopy is 15, 16 years old. We built that like 6 weeks after we were dating. So it's rusting and old, and we're just getting rid of it, right? But it needed to be torn down and like chopped apart. Well, I went to my dad's yesterday. I was off work yesterday and today. Today's job canceled. I took some more needlework pieces to my dad to take to auction. And someone had asked me, is the auction public? It is if you go to it, but it's in Howard County in Maryland. So it's not something you can look at online. My dad actually has to have surgery, so I don't know if he'll be able to do this auction. If he doesn't, then the pieces are going to be waiting until March of next year because they only do it twice a year. Anyway, when I got home yesterday, Bill had started to tear down the canopy. And so I went out there and helped him. So what we did was we stacked all the metal in the yard. Now, we have some wildlife in out back. And if we have leftovers, we will feed them. We will put them back there. Well, we had some last night. And this was at bedtime. And Bill had forgotten about the metal in the yard. So he tripped over it and he cut his leg fairly severely in 2 places. So he had Crocs on. So he comes around the corner. And we got a new back door, so we couldn't open the door for like a day or 2 because of the caulk had to dry. That's a whole other story, let me tell you. So he was coming through the front door. He opens the door, and he was very calm. He says, I need you to get a rag and come out and help me. I'm like, what? I grab one of our utility rags, and I go out there. From his shin down to his foot, blood everywhere. His shoe was blood all in it, blood all over it, the Croc. I was like, oh my God, what the thing happened? And he explained. So sat him down. I cleaned it. I got wound wash and cleaned it and all that. But then we got him inside. Got him inside. I really cleaned it, bandaged it up. I sat with him for like an hour, propped his leg up, got ice on it, did all that. It wasn't like a deep gash where we had to go to the hospital for stitches, but it hurt. He was in severe pain. So gave him some pain medicine. But then I didn't really sleep all night because I was concerned about him, hoping because it was really hurting him. And I said, well, you're probably not going to be able to go to work today. So luckily, if he needs to, he can work at home. So yeah, we got up at 4 and he was like, I'm not going to work, so go back to bed. And once we got up, because we got up like, I don't know, 6:30, something like that. He's feeling much better. It's not really bruised yet. I don't know if it's gonna bruise, but I talked to my mom and she was like, you need to make sure to keep that clean so it doesn't get infected. And I said, I've been cleaning it like twice a day and putting a new bandage on it. But he's been walking around and he said he's feeling much better. Thank God. It could have been so much worse. Thank God it wasn't like his face or anything like that, but holy hell, like you just forget about stuff back there, and he just walked the same path that he always walked and tripped right into it. No joke. But we are getting things done around this house, let me tell you. Definitely getting things done. We are actually hiring someone to paint the rest of the house because it has just been such a stressor, us trying to do it. And but thank you for all the good comments and well wishes, and everyone in like my inner circle, we're all having a tough time right now. So any kind of prayers or anything would be greatly appreciated. I listen to a lot of motivational podcasts and things, and this is just such a difficult thing to navigate, right? And you guys have all said that, like, moving is no joke. I will never look at it again the same way because, I've moved quite a bit, but I've always moved like apartments. It's completely different. And it's always been by myself. So, yeah, this is like no joke. But, yeah, got rid of so much. Like, I just do not want to move a ton of stuff. I just don't. And I don't want to fucking put anything on the wall. Like, oh my God, that doesn't have a 3M hook. But we're not going to be able to get around that. Like, Elizabeth is going to have a hook. I mean, a nail. And some of the mermaids, because they're really big. But it just, me going through all my craft stuff, it really, really hits home how little I really need, for sure. I am probably going to be getting rid of some books maybe, because I may have to get rid of an entire bookshelf depending on what we find. If so, I'm prepared to do that. I'm okay with it. I'll just donate them to the library. I don't mind doing that at all. So we'll see, because we are months away from even looking for a house. So who knows? But yeah, I'm hoping to get back into more stitching, and I actually bought, and I don't know if I said it in the last clip, and that's going to be here Friday. I'm going to start finishing my stuff in a scrapbook again, I think. It's just so much easier than trying to find a frame and hang something on the wall. I bought this scrapbook off of Etsy, and I'll put it up here. It's almost like it was chipboard covers, so I could decorate the cover if I wanted to. But the insides are all different colors of pages and all different mediums. So it's almost like a junk journal, but different. And I just thought that would be a great way, because I mostly stitch small pieces now. I mean, let's face it. Will I ever do a memorabilia again? Maybe. I have that one from Marianne that I won from the auction, and I would love to do that one. And that would, of course, warrant a frame, naturally. But those take me months to do, like 4 or 5 months. And I barely feel like I have time to stitch now anyway. But yeah, cleaning out. cleaning out. I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm burning it all down to the ground and going to be a phoenix rising from the ashes, let me tell you. If you want to be tested, move. You want God to fucking test you, move your house. Oh my God. But yeah, I'm just babbling now, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and I will see you in the next clip. Hey guys, today is Thursday, October 9th, and my job starts in half an hour. I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and got a donut. I haven't had a donut in forever. It was free. I had rewards, so I was out very early this morning running around because so we have hired our neighbor to paint the rest of the house pretty much. So he is actually going to be starting today on the library and the kitchen. And I had to stop and get his money. And I sold my other set of squirrel rods that were on eBay. So that's awesome. So I shipped those off. And I donated 2 big bags of books. So what happened yesterday was Bill was like, I'm going to need you to take everything off of the big bookshelf, you know, where I had Oscar and Charles, like all of that stuff, all of those books, because we essentially moved all the furniture in the library to the middle of the room so they can be painted. So that took me a little bit of time because it was, you know, there's quite a bit of books on there, and I was stacking them in Bill's bedroom because there really isn't a ton of room to put them. And I knew in my head that I need to go through all of those books because there were some that I read and I didn't really care for, and ones that I knew I just didn't want to keep. So I knew I was going to be donating some to the library. Well, I thought to myself, when everything is painted and we're able to move some stuff back, I'm not putting those books back on that shelf. Why would I do that? What I did yesterday, I ordered some boxes, some book boxes. You know, they have boxes that are like 12 by 12 by 12. So it's not too unwieldy or you make it too heavy with books. I think it was a pack of 25 that I bought because quite a bit of books. But I know I'm going to be even getting rid of more from the other bookshelf. So I was like, I'm trying to make this literally as easy as possible for myself come when the time we actually move and have to pack and all of that. Why would I put those books back on that shelf for the next 6 months? It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe somebody else would if they want their house to have some semblance of normalcy, because ours doesn't right now. But I don't care. I realize that as I get more into this process, really have no fucks to give. Seriously. You know, I just don't. So yeah, book boxes are coming. So I had 2 big things of books to donate to the library. So did that. But the main reason I'm coming on here is not to blab on about the house. I received my Pip and Chip tin yesterday for my Petite treasure braid. So this was the cover of it. Yeah. So you open it, and then inside, it's hinged, and inside there are foam slots in here where all of the cards sit very nice and neat, and you can see them all. And I'm going to put this on the bottom of my IKEA cart that's in my craft room. So very, very pleased with this. And I still have spots for 5 more cards. I have a couple cards in some projects that I have kitted up. But yeah, love this so much. Was well worth it. So I have it linked down below, so you guys, if you want to go check it out. But yeah, no stitching. I did finish a really good book. I'm going to put it up here. It is Will Dean's The Last Thing to Burn. It was tense, the whole book. Like, you are rooting for these people, truly. I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite books that I've read this year. And Frida McFadden just came out with her newest book, The Intruder, on Tuesday. So that's going to be my next read for sure. I already have it on my Kindle. So I hope you guys are all doing good, and I will see you in the next clip. Hey guys, today is, I'm always looking for the motherfucking date. Today is October 10th, Friday. I just got done work and my book boxes came. I will show you those in a second. It's a big pile, all together. 25 boxes I got that are 12 by 12 by 12. And I'm going to pack up some books today. But I wanted to show you, I got the junk journal in the mail from Etsy, from Yellow Paper House. So I'm going to tear this off. I just wanted to show you guys because this comes off. You don't need that on there. But I'm going to start finishing my projects in here. As you can see, there's all the pages are different colors, and there's different thicknesses to the paper. I love it so much because it's going to make finishing so very easy. So I decided I'm going to finish this in here. I ordered some scrapbook stuff to do that, and that hasn't come in yet. But I mean, look at the first cover is this color. That'll go good. I did buy some scrapbook paper because I'm going to do like a layout. It's going to be very cool. But I'm going to go in order. Like, oh, look at that one. Yeah. And I'm trying to decide, I think I'm going to do front and back. I'm going to try. But what I'm going to do eventually, I would like to decorate the cover with a cross stitch piece. I don't know what. Inspiration has to strike, right? But for now, I'm just going to enjoy it and go with it and not stress about it like I usually do. I will link that junk journal down below. I love it. I actually really, really like it. Sorry, I'm dropping paper everywhere. But you know how I also love temperature charts. I have yet to stitch one. I really haven't found one that I love except Satsuma Street's Temperature City, Terry calls it. That's coming out in November, by the way. But I was on Facebook. I was on Facebook, and I belong to a couple cross-stitch groups. And in one of them, someone was stitching this, and I was sold. So she even has them out for 2026 for the date. But this is from the Stir Crazy Crafter on Etsy. I will link it down below. But it lets you track the number of books you read in that year. And I bought the one that has 100 books. They have one for like 10, 25, 50, 75. And I mean, you don't have to fill it all in. Let's say I didn't read 100 books next year. Whatever is outlined, I could just do the outline of it and be like, oh, I didn't get there. But what's so awesome about this, let me get a little close so you can see it. Don't you love that? I love it so much. I'll do it on paper because it only works out to being, the size of it is, wish I could find that. You need a piece of 8 by 8 if you stitch it on 14 count. That's cool. I mean, it's not even going to be that big, I don't think. Because really, it's a bookmark. If you see how it says bookmark? Yeah. I love it so much, though. And she gives you a couple options on how to do the colors. Like, you can do it by... wait a minute, let me flick to it because I printed out the pages. You can do it by genre, like fiction is this color, mystery is this color, romance is this color. And I think I might do that, but there was another one that said method 4, like there's a whole bunch of different ones. Method 4 is the color of the book cover. So the main color of the book cover, and I'm like, that's how I might do it. Because I read so much in the same genre, all the books would be the same color. So I was like, I am going to do that. So it's, yeah, it says method 4 book cover. This one might be the most colorful option of all. I would only recommend it if you already have a wide variety of colors of embroidery thread. I got the whole DMC set, motherfucker. Like, I can do that. Yeah, for this one, you'll stitch each book based off of the main color present on the book itself. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It says, throughout the year, watch as your bookmark becomes an accurate depiction of your very own bookshelf. Love that so much. And then it will also, this is also a good one. So I have to choose between, because it also gives you different colors. Like you can stitch the books for the month you read. Like all the books you read in January are one color. All the ones you read in February are another color. That would be a really good indication if you really wanted to see how many you've read per month. I might do it that way. I might. So, yeah, very, very cool. I love it. I'm going to do it for next year because I can do it when I finish a book. Okay, go in and do 8 stitches, right? Yeah. Because I think this year I've read 63 books so far, and we're in what, October? No way I'm probably not going to hit what I hit. I did like 110 or 116 last year. I'm not going to hit that. But yeah, I love that so much. I was so happy when I found that. And I think it was $7, $8. But so remember I told you guys, in addition to the book boxes, I also had bought this ottoman that was foldable. The lid's not foldable, but the rest of it is. And it was off of Amazon, and it was $43, and I bought it to hold my Stitch Mate. Well, that also came today. It's chef's kiss. It's magnificent. I'm blown away by how much I love it for $43. So I'm going to take you in the craft room so you can see it. Yeah, it is so supremely awesome. I was so pleased with it. Okay, let me spin you around. Okay, so here it is. I measured before I ordered it, of course. This is 43 inches long. But this seat is really padded, and you can sit on it because I sat on it. And I weigh 185. So I sat on it. It says it will hold up to 500 pounds. This would be fantastic at the end of someone's bed. Somebody on the reviews said it will hold 2 king comforters, which it came with a divider for the center. I'm not keeping the divider. I didn't want it for that. But it's not hinged. You just lift off the lid. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. Let me set you here. I wanted to pull the lid off so I could show you. See how it's stored, the Stitch Mate? It's amazing. That's all the pieces of the Stitch Mate. Plus I have my roll of contact paper that I use for the back of the diamond paintings. And I also keep a roll of brown craft paper because like when I sell my Legos, I'll wrap them in plastic, but I'll wrap it in that to ship it. So I will keep that roll in here too. There's a couple little things that could fit in here if I needed to. But this keeps the Stitch Mate protected, not touching the wall, and it looks nice and neat, which I am just all about that these days. So I will link this down below as well, because I know you guys are $43. It'll hold kids' toys. It could hold anything, literally, because it also comes with this big black piece that you press in the bottom to give it stability for the corners. Because when I unfolded it, I was like, how is this going to stay up? That's how. And the piece was in the lid. So, but yeah, I am so over the moon with this. I cannot get over it. So I'm looking forward to showing Bill. He's outside pressure washing the house. So, but yeah, that's it. I hope to get some stitching done at some point today, maybe after I pack up some of my books. So I hope you guys are all doing well. I will see you in the next clip. Hey guys, today is Sunday, October 12th. Today is actually the anniversary of my grandfather's death. Didn't realize that until I went over my mom's today. But just real quick, no stitching progress. Just been doing house stuff, of course. But I did purchase some new patterns on Etsy from Sprouting Lupine, is it? So what caught my eye in one of the stitching groups was this one called All Hallows Eve. I'm a sucker for like letters and alphabet and words and stuff. I loved this so very much. This is a little bigger than I would have to stitch this on 18 count if I wanted to put it in my scrapbook. Love this so much though. I mean, it's 5 colors. It's not, love it. Well, then I started looking around because they have an Etsy shop, and that's how I was able to get it on their Etsy store. So I saw this one and had to get it. Trick or treat. Yes. Come on now. Trick or treat. And then this one called Witch District, which I love that these especially are stitched on colored fabric. My favorite one is the Witch's Brew. I absolutely love that one. So definitely would be stitching that. But even this one, I mean, look at the liquid inside some of the letters, and the spellbound one. Love, I just love Halloween stuff so much. So I will link their Etsy store down below. That's it. Really quick. I was going to read a true crime story. I still might, you know, later in the week, or, I mean, I still have time. There's still 18 days left in the month, or 19 days. So I probably will do that. Maybe get a cup of coffee and just sit and chat with you guys and read the story. So I hope you all are doing good. I will see you in the next clip. Hey guys, today is Tuesday, October 14th. And like, how am I going to start this? I'm going to put up some pictures here of what my house currently looks like. The library and my kitchen. When the library gets back and is painted and all of that, I'm just going to box up the rest of the books. And I think I said that in my last clip because I have the boxes. I still have like 19 boxes. Plenty. And it will give me a chance to clean out more books and donate some to the library. You know, I really thought I really thought that I cared what people thought, and that not even that. I don't even know what I'm saying. Not even that. I really thought I had like no fucks to give. I have like negative. I am just, I don't care what people think about anything that I do. You hear me? Like, you gotta live life like that. The only one that should care is God. Seriously. Like, yeah. It has been a time with the house stuff. We're actually getting the house appraised on Friday, so that will be a huge step in the direction of having a number, you know. Okay, as I try to calm myself down here. Work is very tedious today. I have like 3 minutes before they're back off their lunch break. But I wanted to show you because I fully finished my mermaid piece in here. And you know, in the past when I've done finishing, I think I've made it more complicated than I needed to be, because when I stop and I think about my most favorite finishes that I've done, they've been very quick and just trusting my instinct on what needs to go where. And ultimately, when you think about it, the only person that has to care about your finishing is you, because unless you're giving it away, but me, no. This is all for me. So very simple. I'm just simple right now. So remember, I got this book off Etsy and I did the first page. Yeah, this was probably not what I was thinking as far as a layout, but this is what happened. So this is scrapbook paper that I actually taped to, because it was white. So this is scrapbook paper. And then this is, you know, this is the mermaid. I took off the washi tape, but up here it says read more books. And yes, I know it's kind of touching her head. Don't care. I wanted it like that. And then put this gold glitter heart, this gold glitter heart, this little heart balloon. I was thinking, because I had a bunch of like accoutrement, you know, for this layout. The one thing I do like to do is I like to have coordinating stuff. So all of this stuff came in a kit. And then I did this little thing that says read more books and put these little, but I taped everything down using my Xyron Creative Station. I have the 9-inch one. I just run it through and it makes it a sticker. It took me, I want to say 15 minutes, if that. I love how it turned out. What I'm going to love about doing the stuff in this book is that I can take it to me with, I'm so sorry. I can take this book with me to retreats to show everybody, especially take it to New Jersey, because I only see 99% of those people once a year then. You know, I see Cindy a couple times a year at Ocean City. She's like the only one. The rest I don't see. So it will be really nice to travel with my pieces in a book. And so the next page, I am going to just use the back as well. What I was thinking is, I wonder if, depending on the extra little things that I do, if it's going to wind up pressing on the stitching, but none of them are going to be fabric. It's all going to be paper. So I think it's going to be fine. But I love how this turned out. I'm so very pleased. I was going to do on the back side like a journal entry that said, you know, what thread I used, what the pattern designer was. And then I went, that's too complicated. I don't need to keep track like that. Just to have this stuff in a book and done is good enough for me. And it was a lot of fun actually making this up. I love this journal so much. This scrapbook. I mean, look at those pages. Like Halloween, like please. So my next one, I've already started looking for the layout for the Give Thanks. You know, I'm stitching the Give Thanks one from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I haven't done any more on it. I did a teeny bit of diamond painting yesterday for the first time in like weeks. Like, and I want to say teeny, I mean like minutes. It really wasn't a lot of time. But all my eBay auctions are gone. That stuff all sold. The Lego kit sold. So cleaned out, like really, really cleaned out. And Bill implored me, like, please do not get rid of any of your diamond painting kits, because later in life, like once I retire and really probably will not be able to spend as much money on crafts as I do now. Although I've cut down tremendously. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I'm so excited. Maybe I can get your thoughts. Give me ideas. What can I do on the front and maybe even the back? I would love to stitch something on paper and have it on the front and the back. I don't know what. I think something has to strike me. Like I have to see a pattern and be like, oh my God, yeah. You know, maybe my initial. I don't know. But you know me. I don't want this to stay plain, but I feel like I have to have inspiration. Like I'm going to see it and be like, oh my God, yes, that's what's going to go on the front. So, but give me your ideas. You guys have some really good ideas. But yeah, this book is fabulous. I mean, all of the different, I mean, look at that page. Oh, I mean, I'd be tempted to like not put a piece of scrapbook paper over that, like have that be the background. A whole lot of fun. Yeah, I love this. One of my favorite purchases I've done. And it's sturdy. Like this spine is very sturdy, because as I finish them, the book is going to get thick. But there's going to be room for it to be thick. Not like my other one that busted. Remember, a long time ago, I had to throw that thing right in the trash. But yeah. Okay, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in the next clip. Hey guys, welcome back to another segment. Today is Thursday, October 16th. We are hurtling towards Halloween. So I wanted to take today to read, I printed it out, to read one of my favorite one of my favorite true crime stories that I've ever read, and it is The Candyman Killer. So this is perfect for Halloween because it happened during Halloween in 1974. We'll just get right into it. Grab a drink, grab a snack, grab your stitching, whatever you're doing, because this is going to take a couple minutes for me to read it. Okay. So, you know, the main crux of Halloween is trick-or-treating, right? As kids, you look forward to it all year, dressing up, getting lots of candy. I know I did. My grandparents would check our candy when we got home for unwrapped ones, any weird looking things. You know, my grandfather liked the fun size Snickers and stuff. So he would intentionally like squeeze it and be like, oh, well, now I have to eat it. Yeah. Go ahead, Pop. You eat that candy. There was a time, however, like back in the 1970s, when parents weren't as careful and not as fearful of things like that, or even entertained the thought that someone would do something to Halloween candy that would harm kids. That all changed in Houston, Texas in 1974, which was the year I was born. So this story is 51 years old. Ronald Clark O'Brien. He lived in Deer Park, Texas with his wife, Danae, and they had 2 children. A son named Timothy, born in 1966, and a daughter named Elizabeth, born in 1969. So the kids were 8 years old and 5 years old, respectively. Ronald was known as a decent, upstanding citizen and was an optician for a well-known optical chain in Texas. He was also very involved in his church and sang in the choir. And you know, as I look on these kinds of cases, it's like so many of these cases that people seem to be church oriented, but it doesn't seem to be helping, does it? Yeah. So, picture it. Sicily, 1922. No, if you know, you know when I just said that, right? Halloween, 1974. Ronald and his 2 kids and a few neighborhood kids and their parents were all out trick-or-treating as a group. Ronald's son, Timothy, was dressed as a character from Planet of the Apes. The movie had just come out and so was a very popular choice for a Halloween costume. One of the other parents in the group was Jim, and he had his 2 kids with him, Mark and Kimberly. Ronald took his 2 kids over to Jim's neighborhood because Jim lived in a better neighborhood and Ronald thought the whole experience would be better. And you know, let me tell you, the neighborhood we currently live in, let me scoot this a little closer. The neighborhood we currently live in, a lot of people bring their kids here. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's a dead-end street. It always boggles my mind, but anyway. And as kids, you know, we always went to my grandparents' house because, first of all, my grandparents wanted to see us in our Halloween costumes, but their neighborhood was huge. We lived in a neighborhood that had duplexes and townhouses and things like that. Theirs were single-family homes and just giant. I mean, we would go and use the pillowcase as a trick-or-treater thing, as a bag, and then we'd have to go empty it and go out and get more. Like, it was that much. So, the night goes on for all these people, and they were doing the normal trick-or-treat thing, going to each house, getting candy, having a good time. But then they came to a house where the lights were off. And you know, when we were kids, a house that was completely dark meant you just avoided it. They either didn't want to give out candy, they weren't home, we didn't go up to it. So, yeah, they either ran out of candy, which, oh my God, when I was growing up and past the trick-or-treating age, I would give out candy at our house. We had so many kids in that neighborhood that we would always run out and my mom would have to turn the light off because she wasn't going out and buying more candy. So, needless to say, you just didn't go up and knock on the door of a house that was completely dark. But Ronald and Jim and his kids decided they were going to try anyway, and they went up to the house and knocked on the door, and nobody answered. The kids weren't fazed, and were like, okay, let's just go on to the next house. Jim and the kids moved on, but Ronald stayed behind, catching up with them a little bit later. He told Jim and the kids that he stayed to try to get the people that live there to answer the door and get some candy. The fuck? What? Why would you do that? There are so many other houses, like why focus on that one house, right? Oh, Ronald. Bad people doing very bad things. Ronald said they did eventually answer the door, and he gave the kids 6 pixie sticks. That the guy at this house gave him 6 pixie sticks to divide between the kids. So if you don't know what pixie sticks is, it's a paper tube with flavored sugar in it, and it's closed at both ends, and you have to tear it open to open it up, right? You normally tear it open, and you just pour the contents from the pixie sticks right into your mouth. So Ronald gives out the pixie sticks to the kids. They continue about 2 blocks down the street and then decide to call it a night. Once the kids got home, they did what any kid does on Halloween. They dumped out their candy to see what they got and started eating it. And let me tell you, I loved Halloween. And I still love it for one little fact, the candy. They called me the candy queen when I was a kid. I always had candy. I loved candy, sour candy, sweet candy. Sweet tarts are my favorite. I loved all the candy. So Ronald's son, Timothy, wanted to eat his pixie sticks right away, but he was having trouble getting it open because it was stapled shut at the end. No, that fucking candy is never stapled. It's sealed in a factory. Stapled? Ronald. So Ronald helped him open it and gave it to him. And this just hurts my heart when you hear what's going to happen. Like I said, I've read this story a couple years in a row. As Timothy was eating the pixie sticks, he said that it tasted really bitter and awful. So Ronald gave him some Kool-Aid to wash it down. Ronald said he thought the pixie sticks was just rotten or old. No. But a few minutes later, Timothy started complaining of a really bad stomach ache. He ran to the bathroom and started vomiting and convulsing. Ronald ran to the bathroom and stayed there with his son until he just went limp in his arms. He called 911 and they tried to take Timothy to the hospital, but it was too late. Timothy had died within 1 hour of eating the pixie sticks. So word got out quickly in the neighborhood, right? And people were frightened naturally, and everyone started to think, well, there has to be a house that is giving out poisonous candy. So as you can expect, this caused extreme panic in this neighborhood. So a lot of the parents made their kids throw out all of their Halloween candy. Yep, I probably would have done that too. Some kids brought their candy to the police department to be inspected. An autopsy was performed on Timothy because he was what, 8? And what they found out was that the pixie sticks he had eaten had cyanide in it. Cyanide! I mean, lethal. I can't. An alert was sent out immediately to the neighborhood saying, if you have a pixie sticks, throw them out immediately. Ronald told police about handing out the pixie sticks so they were able to track them down, and luckily no other child had eaten them yet. There was one child, though, that they weren't able to track down, as Ronald said he didn't remember who it was, that it was a kid from church. But police ended up finding the kid, getting a hold of his parents, and they checked his candy, but couldn't find the pixie sticks. The child was already asleep in bed at this point, so they ran upstairs to check on the child to make sure he was all right. And he hadn't eaten the pixie sticks, and they found him laying in bed holding it uneaten. Apparently he had tried to open it, but because of the motherfucking staple in the end of it, he wasn't able to get it open, and he gave up and fell asleep. Police opened up all of the remaining pixie sticks they had collected, which was 5. Remember, Ronald gave out 6. And they discovered that they had all been replaced with pure cyanide. Can you imagine ingesting pure cyanide? Like, there wasn't even a minutia of pixie sticks in there. The 5 pixie sticks, now wrap this around your brain. The 5 pixie sticks had enough cyanide in them to kill 2 to 4 adults. So how many kids do you think that would kill? A lot. Timothy was buried on November 2nd. Ronald spoke at the funeral saying that his son was now in a better place with God. Police obviously want to figure out which house gave out these pixie sticks. But when they asked Ronald, he said he couldn't remember which house he got them from. Now, you have to remember that they had only went 2 blocks past where Ronald had caught up with them that night as it started raining, okay? So it wasn't that many houses that they had actually been to where the pixie sticks could have come from. So police just went to every single house Jim and Ronald and the kids went to. However, none of them had given out pixie sticks, and there was no evidence of any pixie sticks at these houses. So police ended up walking with Ronald around the neighborhood, hoping something would jar his memory and he would remember where he got the pixie sticks from. Finally, he remembered. Please, he fucking knew which house it was. Come on now. He remembered which house they came from, and once Ronald saw the house, he conveniently started remembering more details, that the house was dark and that he continually knocked because they weren't answering right away. Ronald told police that when the occupants of the house opened the door, all of their lights were still off and that they had only opened the door enough to stick a hand out and hand him the 5 pixie sticks. 6, technically. So Ronald had not seen their face. What? Come on now. This has to be starting to be suspicious to the police, right? Police went to the house that Ronald claimed to have gotten these pixie sticks from, and it was owned by a man named Courtney Melvin. Courtney told police that he worked at a nearby airport and that he actually had been working on Halloween night until 11 p.m. And that's why the lights were off, as he was not giving candy out at his house, and his alibi checked out. Yeah. So at this point, the police are starting to look more at Ronald. So after looking more into Ronald and his life, police discovered that Ronald was in over $100,000 of debt. You know, when I originally read this story, it was in 2020. $100,000 in debt now in 2025 is a hell of a lot of money. But in 1974, I can't even do the math. I'm sure somebody will do it. What is the current value of $100,000 in 1974? I can't even imagine in today's terms what it would be. Police also found out that Ronald had held 21 different jobs in the last 10 years because he wasn't able to hold down a job. And Ronald was even in trouble at the optical store where he worked, as he was accused of stealing from them. But that was not all. Ronald's car was about to be repossessed. He had defaulted on several bank loans, and their family home was about to be foreclosed on. And I mean, so Ronald's in it. He's in it up to his eyeballs, right? But the nail in Ronald's coffin, and I'm not laughing, that was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this story laugh. The nail in Ronald's coffin was when police found out Ronald had taken out $10,000 life insurance on both of his children in January of that same year. So about 10 months before, right? And then 1 month before Halloween, he took out an additional $20,000 on each child. And then just a few more days before Halloween, he took out an even further $20,000 on each child. So it totaled $60,000 per child for these policies. The insurance company actually contacted police and said that November 1st, the day after Timothy died, Ronald had called up and said, inquiring how he could collect the life insurance proceeds. Ronald's wife, Danae, said she had no idea that he had taken out these policies. And, you know, as if all of that wasn't bad enough, a local chemical company contacted police and claimed that Ronald had come in a few days before Halloween looking to buy cyanide. However, this company, like many other chemical companies, had restrictions in place on how much you could get. They would only give you a tiny amount unless you had some type of license to purchase it. According to the chemical company, Ronald was wanting to purchase a whole lot more cyanide than was even in the pixie sticks. So you have to wonder, what in the hell was he actually going to do with the rest of it? When the chemical company denied his request, he just left. November 5th, police arrested Ronald. He was indicted on 4 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of capital murder for Timothy's death. Ronald pled not guilty to all 5 charges. His trial began on May 5th, 1975. During the trial, there was a chemist that was friends with Ronald, and he said in 1973, so an entire year before this happened, Ronald was asking this guy about cyanide and how much could kill someone. What in the actual fuck? Why would you ask someone that? Why would you do that if you weren't planning on something nefarious, right? Friends and family also noted that Ronald had an unusual interest in cyanide and its inner workings, and that he would just randomly talk about how much it would take to kill someone. Ronald's sister and brother-in-law said that at Timothy's funeral, Ronald was going around saying he was going to take this long vacation with the insurance proceeds to get through his grief of losing Timothy, and that he talked about all of the stuff he was going to buy with the money, which is just weird and completely inappropriate. I mean, people process grief in different ways, but what? Even with all the evidence stacked against him, Ronald still said he was innocent and kept saying there was a psycho out there in the neighborhood giving out the poison candy. His trial lasted for a month, and on June 3rd, 1975, the jury found Ronald guilty on all charges, having only deliberated for 46 minutes. Yeah, I mean, pretty clear cut here, right? It took the jury only 71 minutes to come up with a sentence, and he was given the death penalty. Shortly after his conviction, his wife, Danae, filed for divorce. Obviously, yeah. According to prison officials, Ronald was shunned by all of the inmates on death row because of what he did to Timothy. And, he was probably put in, solitary or whatever, because from what I've seen online in movies all over the place, other inmates don't take kindly to people that hurt children. So Ronald, I was surprised, did not get murdered in prison. But it seems like he lived out the rest of his life pretty miserably. He was scheduled to be executed on August 8th of 1980. That got pushed to May 25th, 1982. And then it was pushed one final time to October 31st, 1982. Which was the 8th anniversary of Timothy's death. The judge wanted justice so badly for this case that he claimed to have said that he would drive Ronald there himself to make sure he got executed on the 31st. The Supreme Court wound up getting involved, and the date got pushed once again. They wanted to give Ronald the chance to appeal and get a new trial. Why? I have no idea. So a final and fourth date was March 31st, which was my grandfather's birthday, of 1984. His attorneys fought hard for his case, saying that death by lethal injection was cruel and unusual punishment. Kind of like your child dying from cyanide poisoning? Come on. Well, that's what you get, right? Because Timothy's death was completely horrific. And I have to give, I don't know how defense attorneys do it. I don't know how you could defend someone that did that. You have to just go by the letter of the law and what the laws are in place, because if you stop and think about it, no. He was finally executed on March 31st, and he maintained his innocence until his death. I guess he had to do that to live with himself. But I'm telling you, we're all going to have to answer at some point to what we have done in this life. So a crowd of 300 people had gathered and were cheering as he was being put to death. His death was the first by lethal injection in Texas. Danae wound up getting remarried, and her new husband adopted Elizabeth, the daughter that was left. And you have to hope that they were able to get past that and go on with their life. But good God, and I'm always amazed at these stories where these people are walking around or doing searches on the computer for poison. Because this is not, 1855 or whatever, where you were able to go into the pharmacy and buy arsenic and buy stuff like that, and nobody looked at you because it was used to kill rodents and things like that. So you were able to get away with that shit back in those days. If you read the old true crime stories, which are some of my favorite ones also, a lot of women used poison. Put it in candy, put it in iced tea, over time, planning it. And, just talking about true crime, Bill and I will watch 2020 sometimes when there is nothing else to watch. And usually in like the first 2 minutes, oh, it's so-and-so. Because do people not watch this stuff? Do you not watch these shows? Because you're going to kill somebody. You better have plan A, B, C, D, motherfucking E, F, G. You better have it, and you better plan it ahead. And I told Bill, I'm going to write a book. How to kill someone and get away with it. Because, I mean, first of all, love and money, 2 top things that people will kill other people for. 85% of all murders are done by people that they know. 85%. That statistic could be even higher. Also, do not spend the insurance money right away, and don't get a new boyfriend or a girlfriend. I mean, we watched this one where the guy had put a lethal amount of cocaine, I think, in his wife's milk for cereal. And after she died, he wanted to say she was a drug addict. Her parents had had her breast milk frozen in their freezer because sometimes the baby came to stay with them. And they actually tested it and it had no drugs in it. So that like proved that it was not her. But he spent all the insurance money. He had a new girlfriend with like in a month. What? You were asking for the spotlight to be put on you. People. Was it worth it? I'd love to ask that question too. Was it worth it? No. I know that having that much debt and all of those things happening and his wife having no idea probably just kept Ronald up at night. But why would you try to kill your child? Like, I don't get it, because did you think you were actually going to get away with it? I guess he did. Don't do it. Crime does not pay. Don't do it. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the story of the Candyman killer. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm actually very excited for, I'm actually off work tomorrow, which is Friday the 17th. I really hope to get some stitching done, because my responsibility in this house as far as doing things, besides the normal everyday things, is pretty much done, besides packing. Because we have someone in here painting, all of the repairs are done. I'm very, very happy, because I haven't stitched or diamond painted like in a good chunk of time in weeks. So I am hoping in the next segment to have something to show you. I know I keep saying that. I'm really hoping. I hope you guys are all doing good, and I will see you in the next clip. Hey guys, today is October 20th, 2025, and I have a little update. No stitching. You know, I've tried to work on 2 different projects and it just wasn't working. I tried to work on the Primrose Cottage Stitches freebie, and then I tried to work on, what was the other one? Oh, Ye Old Crow by Heart and Hand. Just started stitching it and didn't like either one. So, nope. And then I went through my patterns, and I think I'm going to start this one. And I stitched this one before, but I had it in my previous junk journal, which I threw away because the binding, it broke. If you remember, that was a while ago. I don't mind stitching this again. I love these patterns. This is PinoyStitch, Sassy Lady Coffee. So coffee first, evil schemes later. And I changed the colors. So my pink is a little different. The blue is pretty much the same, and the black. And because for the Petite treasure braid like accent I'd like to do, I'm going to do her lips in red and then her headband in a pink and her earrings. So those are all going to be Petite treasure braid. So it's very cute. And they have a bunch of, they have another one that says not all witches live in Salem, I think. I really like that one too. So, and they're perfect. I mean, on 14 count, it's 4x4. That will fit perfectly in the scrapbook, and I can probably do some coffee stuff around it. Yeah. So hopefully going to start that today, possibly. In a nutshell, it has still been just difficult and stressful doing stuff in the house, and it's almost like it feels like we finish one thing and like 8 things get added to the list. It has just been a whole lot. And this is just a difficult season for me right now. It won't always be like this, but yeah. Reading. So I decided to trade in. Remember I had like the big Kindle Fire that I forgot I had? Well, it was really heavy, kind of clunky to read with. And I said, you know what? I need to look around because I want a lighter Kindle and you can trade them in. So that's what I did. I traded it in and I didn't get like a Kindle Paperwhite, a Kindle Oasis, a Kindle something. I just got the 2024 version of their just Kindle and I love it. Mine is in the matcha green color. So this is only a 6-inch. It came with the case. The case I love because it's textured and when you open it, it wakes it up. See how it woke it up? And you can flip it back. And this is like velvety. So when I lay it on my lap, it doesn't slip. And the page turns really easy. I love it. I finished Frida McFadden's The Intruder. Absolutely love that book. I love that so much. And then I'm reading one now on Kindle Unlimited called Casual Dating, about this guy that's divorced. He decides to go on a dating app. It goes badly. It's entertaining. It's on Kindle Unlimited. But yeah, this can fit in my purse. I mean, love it. And then the last thing to share with you is I've started coloring again. So I've actually started coloring downstairs in the evening when I get in bed and I'm watching something. So I put my coloring stuff in my Vera Bradley laptop bag that I got off of eBay many, many years ago. Their bags really hold up though. All of the bags that I currently have from Vera Bradley, I've gotten off of eBay. The one I got brand new with tags. I mean, if you look, you can really find a deal. So, you know, I got rid of a lot of my coloring supplies when I cleaned out my craft room. The only thing I kept, besides my pencil sharpener, is my 48 set of Prismacolor, because you do not need, in my opinion, a set of 150 colored pencils. You just don't. Like, all the colors are in here. And I like Prismacolor. They're wax-based. They're very easy to blend. So Johanna Basford is probably my favorite artist besides Hannah Lynn. I love her coloring books. But I have all of Johanna's books, and I like them spiral bound. So I've gotten them spiral bound at Office Depot before, but there's a company called Lay It Flat Publishing. They also have most of her books in spiral bound. So I am working in World of Flowers, which is one of my favorite ones. And she is having a new book come out, I want to say in November. It's called Wonderful Wildflowers. I'm like, ooh, I have to get that. So I just picked a page, and what I do is I will do a leaf every evening, a flower every evening, because I'm really trying to take my time and do this really, really well. So here is my progress so far. Last night I did this flower. Did I finish it? It looks finished. I think I finished it. So I will do this other flower in these same colors. I usually pick 3 colors, a dark, a medium, and a light, and then I do shading, and that's how I do it. So Bill saw it and he was like, ooh, that looks really good. I'm like, yeah, I've watched so many YouTube videos and tutorials and things that I feel like I'm pretty decent at it now. And you know, coloring is not a quick hobby, just like cross stitch is not a quick hobby. It's time consuming if you want to do it properly. So like I said, when I sit down in the evening, I just set a little goal, like 1 flower tonight, take my time. And you know, with coloring, it's all about layers. That's how it gives it that dimension and depth to look like kind of 3D. So I will update you guys as I get more of the little flowers done. But that's all I have. It is windy as fuck outside. You can see, like, we went to Home Depot this morning. Just, my hair was just like that. Yeah, outside. It looked like that when I walked in. But I hope you guys are all doing good. I appreciate any well wishes on just continuing this journey of home. You know, I don't wish moving on anybody. Nope. No, no, no. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. It will try every patience you have in your body. Yeah. But okay. I will see you in the next segment. Hey guys, today is Monday, October 27th. It's time for another segment. So I will take you and show you around the house because painting has been happening. Our neighbor is a painter on the side, and he has been painting the rest of the house for us, which has been just a huge, huge help. Bill and I have been doing a lot of stuff still with the house, with little tasks and things like that. And it has still been difficult and stressful, but we are getting through it. And I am hopeful that we're getting to the end of it somewhat. So, let me take you around first before I show you my stitching progress, because yes, I have stitched. I did stitch one day, but let's take you around because I wanted to show you something I purchased for my shoes that I absolutely love because we've gotten rid of so much, but I've been trying to organize better. And in that vein, I have bought a few things to organize things better. So let's take you around. Flip you around here. I think when I flip it around, oh, I wanted to show you this. Okay, so I am going to put a picture up here of the weights that I have had on the bottom of this table, because this table I got at Home Goods, and it's actually meant to sit on hardwood floor. This is carpet in here. But I really like it as a side table. So I've had these weights, and I have two of them, so it's 20 pounds on the bottom of that. I've had these weights on here for a really long time. And just the other day, I was like, how can I make that look more aesthetically pleasing, right? I mean, let's face it, 99% of the time, I'm the only one that sees it, or Bill, but just from my mind's eye, right? So I was thinking about, oh, I could probably cover them in fabric, but then I thought, OMG, I have so many project bags that are being unused. These weights fit perfectly in 2 project bags. And it looks like I just have a project sitting down there. I was like, brilliant. I love it. Bill was like, yeah, that looks good. So, yeah. So, yeah, our neighbor got done the library. So I was able to packed up the rest of my books. I donated more to the library. So these are the boxes of books. I had already had everything off of there packaged up, you know, everything is packed up. And then these here are my Starbucks mugs that you all have gotten me over the years that were hanging on the kitchen wall. So the last couple of days, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, were very, very busy, stressful, packed days of tasks and things that we didn't quite expect to have to do. When I pulled these out of the bin that we had them in, I knew they couldn't stay in a bin because traveling with them 2.5 hours or 2 hours or wherever, they would have broken. So I knew I had to package them in a bubble wrap. When I pulled them out of the bin to package them, I realized that they were sticky from being in the kitchen and, you know, cooking oils and moisture combined in the air. So I had to run all 36 mugs through the dishwasher. And then I realized that when I hung them up on the wall, I hadn't taken off all of the labels. So when I pulled them out of the dishwasher and dried them off and packaged them, I pulled off 95% of the labels were still on the bottom of the mugs, but putting them in the dishwasher loosened them up. So I was able to do that, but that was a task that I hadn't really anticipated doing as far as washing them and all of that. Now, do you see these blinds? This window and this window are the same size. And then we have this one. So yes, the kitchen is painted, so it's all back in its regular, you know, I was able to put these rooms back together last week, which I was very grateful for. The idea initially was to clean these blinds. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you that I have been sorely remiss in cleaning the blinds over the years? How often do you clean your blinds? Do you clean them? Because to say that I pretty much never cleaned them is an accurate statement. Truly. That has been a huge learning lesson. So on the same day that I packaged up the rest of my books, this was Thursday, the rest of my books and the mugs, I was going to clean this blind. And I did clean 90% of it. This one wasn't bad. It basically needed to be more dusted than anything. But I thought to myself, oh my fucking God. When I go to clean this one, and especially this one, it had 15 years worth of grease and grime, and I mean, it would have literally taken me probably an entire day to clean those blinds with a magic eraser and all of that. So when Bill came home from work that day, I said, can we price buying just new blinds? Because I was distraught thinking I was going to spend an entire Saturday cleaning these blinds. So we decided to go get new blinds, and we wound up getting new blind for this one, even though I had spent 2 hours cleaning this one. Learning lesson. So we got all new blinds. Well, we were thinking that the blinds would fit in the old brackets. They did not. So Bill's like, okay, I'm just going to take down the brackets. Well, what we didn't realize was when we had our windows put in about 15 years ago, the window people had caulked the brackets to the windowsill. So essentially Bill had to rip it off the wall. And when he did, it tore the paint off. To say that he was angry is an understatement, because he had to go back and patch and spackle and repaint all of those things. But in the so Thursday and Friday and Saturday, we got all of those up there. But yeah, I'm really curious, like, are you guys really up on like dusting baseboards and cleaning blinds? Because I told Bill in the new place, I want to position our furniture where I can get behind it, because I have to be better at cleaning, at doing this. Because I just can't have it like it was. I can't do it. So I'm really curious, because I wound up going on Amazon and I found I should show you. It's in the closet here. Oh, and I was able to finally get our linen closet back together, which I was very glad about because Bill had painted that. So I cleaned this out. This is very nice and neat now. I cleaned it all out. We got rid of a bunch of stuff, but all of these bins I got at the Dollar Tree. Love them so much. And now everything is in a bin where you can just pull it out, get it. Yeah. Okay, so down here, I got this. It is called Easy Clean Duster. These things spin, but they go in between the blind slats. What I like about it is that these are on there by Velcro. You can pull these off and throw them in the wash machine and reuse them. That way you're not constantly buying different things. So I also bought something to clean baseboards and the fan blades on ceiling fans, because that's something else that I am sorely remiss in, that I just don't do enough. I cleaned this fan the other day when I packaged everything up in this room. And it wasn't that bad because remember, this fan's only a year and a half old, something like that. And we bought a new ceiling fan for my bedroom downstairs because when they piece, our painter is going to paint my bedroom in January. So after he's done downstairs, he's going to take a break for the holidays. I fully get it. That's fine. But yeah, all of this is painted now. He is to right here. He has put one coat on everything. So the downstairs is still highly in disarray because he's painting. But he got so much done yesterday where, yeah. Okay, so the thing I wanted to show you. So originally, I had a 3-tier shoe rack in this room. I'm not going over there because I don't want to show you it yet. I had a 3-tier shoe rack. And what was happening was, you know, I only have 5 pairs of shoes plus 4 pairs of dress shoes. The dress shoes, I'll have to show you when I go back upstairs. I bought containers at the Dollar Tree to put those shoes in so they don't get dusty. That's the key, dust. I have 1 pair of boots. That pair of boots is suede. There was so much dust on them when I went over my shoes the other day, and I said, okay, I have to figure something out that has a zippered top, that has something where the shoes don't get dusty. Here's what I got. Now, these came as a set, okay? And they actually, if you look at the back, they Velcro together. These will Velcro together to make one big container. And when we move, I will do that to move them. But when I did it and it was one big square, it just stuck out too far on this floor. So I just separated them. But what's nice is you can see the inside, the dividers can go all different ways. So I asked Bill actually for another pair of boots for Christmas. So they're going to go here. But what's nice is you can see that the dividers all come out. There's a piece in the bottom that goes in to support it. And then it zippers. So you can see where your shoes are. And it zippers, so no dust. And I don't mind every night, you know, my tennis shoes go here that I currently have on. I just unzip it, put my shoes in. Nothing's going to get dusty. It actually looks pretty nice. They look nice. I mean, in a new house, I hope to have a closet in my bedroom. I don't have a closet in this one. The closet that we have in this room has like Christmas stuff in it. So these will be in a closet, but still no more dust. And I want to say this was $24, I think, for this. Well worth it. I was so pleased. I've been pleased very much lately with the stuff that I have gotten from Amazon. You know, that Ottoman thing that I got in my craft room to hold my stitch mate and that kind of stuff. Love it so much. So let me show you the shoe containers that I got at the Dollar Tree. I'm telling you, the Dollar Tree is on point for stuff like that. This is currently my closet in here. I have all my stuff from the library, stitching stuff, yeah. These are the containers I got. These are my 4 pairs of dress shoes. They're wonderful. The lids come off. Yeah, fantastic. And they fit my shoes. So absolutely love them. Okay. All right, now that you're tired of hearing about that, I finished a book called Casual Dating, and it was the first time I actually predicted what was going to happen, and I was correct. I'm usually never correct. I never guess it. It was on Kindle Unlimited. It was an interesting read. I just started reading today, and I mean like reading the first page. Jennifer Hilliard's Wonderland. I like her stuff. I have read a bunch of her stuff. So, like I said, I did do some stitching, and I started Sassy Lady Coffee by PinoyStitch. Coffee first, evil schemes later. She has so many of these kind. I want to say there's like 8 different ones. I want to stitch them all. I love them so much. Because, please, headband? Yeah, come on now. I changed the colors a little bit, and I'm stitching it on white 14 count paper because I'm going to put it in my scrapbook, of course. And don't mind the needle because I'm in the middle of stitching her skin. This is my progress. Ha! Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. And I actually, when I stitched, I debated whether to do that. I actually stitched this white. I debated whether to do it like a sparkle braid, because what it is that is her, you'll see, it's not going to, her neck goes here. So this is like a collar on a dress back. It reminds me of the 1950s. I actually stitched the white. I was going to stitch it in sparkle braid, but I didn't know what color to do. I'm just going to leave it white, but I love it so much. So I worked on that while I actually watched the newest season of the show Betrayal on Hulu. It was called Under His Eye, where the guy was a doctor and he had like cameras in his house and was recording people. Oh man. It was 3 episodes and I watched all 3 while stitching this. I also watched recently the 2nd season of Nobody Wants This, starring Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. I liked it, but it reminded me of the 1st season, if that makes any sense. I enjoyed it though. I love all the characters. You're rooting for everybody. And then last night, Bill and I needed a laugh, right? And I said, let's try to find a movie. So we watched, and I don't know how we missed the boat on this because this movie is from 2011. We watched Horrible Bosses with Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, the guy from Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis, something like that. I laughed so hard. What a great movie. And there was a second one that was done in 2014. So we are going to try to watch the second one here very shortly. This Friday is Halloween. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of Halloween, Kathy Haberman, who does hands-on design, if you follow or subscribe to her newsletter, she sent a freebie around over the weekend, the word boo. And I love the fact that she sent it in 5 different fonts. I'm going to stitch this one. I love the script, right? And this was hers. This was what she did. She stitched it on paper and did like a little plant poke. I had an idea. I was pondering, like, how do I want to do it? I think I'm going to stitch it because I printed orange paper. I think I'm going to stitch it just black on the orange paper and do like a Halloween scrapbook layout kind of thing. I think that will be awesome. I already have a Halloween scrapbook thing that I had purchased. So I love it. I love the first one. It caught my eye right away. So if you signed up for her newsletter, you will get that. But that's all I have. I don't have any purchases for stitching. Yeah, it was so, it felt so good to stitch the other day. It had been since the retreat, since I had really sat down and stitched for that long. And yeah. And you know, the stress and difficulty of everything we've been doing in the house, I've been saying to myself that, oh my God, please don't let us have to go through all of this again in a new house. Like, now my rooms are going to be painted. We know this. I know this. I have colors picked out. I'm already ready. But as far as like, you know, replacing blinds and outlets and all of the little tasks that we have had to do, and then unexpected things that we just didn't think we were going to have to do. But then it hit me. It hit me that in a new house that we are going to be staying in, my feeling and my attitude towards doing those things are going to be completely different because we're going to be staying in the house. So I feel like it's going to bring me more joy to do those kinds of things in a new place, because we are going to be able to reap the benefit of that. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making myself clear. yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we are hurtling towards the end of this year. It's already October 27th. October had somewhere to be, right? October had somewhere to be. I mean, before we know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving, and then it's going to be Christmas. And we are doing Christmas very differently this year. Definitely we scaled back. We scaled back immensely. And believe it or not, so Charlize is now a tattoo artist. I don't know if I had said that on this channel. There are 2 small tattoos that I want to get. I'm going to put pictures of them up here. One on my ankle, the one that's it's a heart, half of it's the breast cancer symbol. But then the other one I want to get like on the inside here of my arm. And I'm so adamant about not bringing stuff into this house unless I absolutely need it or want it, and it's going to serve a purpose. So like I asked my mom for a year of Kindle Unlimited for Christmas. My dad will give us money. I told everybody, please do not buy me something I have to put in this house, because unless I ask you for it. But from Bill, we also cut our budget in half for Christmas, the money that we spend on each other. And yeah, we have just cut across the board, because this will be the first year that Bill does not have a holiday club savings. It's okay, we got it, but nobody needs just all the stuff, right? So I want from him, I picked out the pair of boots. I also picked out a Fitbit. I really want a new like Fitbit, because when we move, Bill and I have been pondering joining a gym and getting, healthy. So that will be something we can enjoy together, and yeah, need to do something. So I picked out, I'm going to put a picture up here, this one with like the lilac band. I absolutely love it. I think it was $89. I mean, something very reasonable. And then I want a good travel Keurig. So I picked out a mini Keurig and then a case, because I can't gush enough about when I went to the retreat in September. I brought all my own food and my own coffee, and I didn't spend a dime when I was there. And I loved it. I loved it too, because there wasn't a ton of time taken up by traveling to the stitching store, traveling to eat, traveling to do all of this. I know some people love that part of it. Me, I want to be there to stitch and enjoy the people's company. So the way that I did it, I absolutely loved it. So going forward, that's my plan. But I want a better Keurig. The one I have is kind of a knockoff, and it only costs $30, I think, on Amazon. I want like the good Keurig. So that was my big present that I asked for from Bill. So those are the only things, those 4 things that I asked for him and, or from him. Yeah. Yep. Doing it much more low key going forward. So I hope you guys have all been doing good. And I feel like this should be the last clip in the vlog, but you know what? I might come back, because I know Friday's Halloween, and then Saturday I have a hair appointment to get my roots done. So Friday's November 1st. So I need to have this vlog up there. We will see. We will see. If anything, I will come back for like 5 seconds and just be like, thank you for watching and spending time with me this month. But I hope everyone has been doing good and stitching all the things and reading all the things. And I've read 65 books this year. I am highly pleased with that so far. And I know, so I figure October, probably by the end of the year, I'll probably hit 70, maybe. I'm good with that. I know I read so much last year, but it's not a competition, right? So again, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in the next segment. Hey guys, welcome to the last segment of my October vlog. Today is Wednesday, October 29th. And I am changing my stitching project yet again. And I'm going to show you why. So I have enjoyed stitching on the coffee piece, the sassy lady piece, very much. However, I got to this part and her eyes just don't sit right with me. I've stitched these 3 different times and it just looks like demonic. I can't put my finger on it. So I'm stitching something else because I will look at this and it will just bother me. And all of the ones are like that on Etsy in that shop. So I decided, and I am hopeful that this project will go to completion. This is from Witch's Garden Crafts on Etsy, and this is the one that says there's a little witch in all of us. So this is how they stitched it. Okay, with gray, black, 3 shades of gray, black, and then on cream paper. But me, no, I'm not doing that. I am going to stitch it on this orange paper that I printed. Remember I printed this? This is 18 count perforated paper. When I stitch on 18 count perforated paper, I like to use sulky because sulky, in my opinion, is about 1.5 strands weight-wise compared to DMC. It covers the 18 count paper really well, if you remember my mermaid that I did. So, orange paper. Now this will have to be framed because 18 count, this is like 9 by 6. I'm pretty sure. I am going to use shades of green instead of the gray. So black, and then I picked out a dark, I'm trying to hold this up so you can see it. A dark, a medium, and a light green. I think that's gonna look fantastic, especially because, you know, it's like a witch, like the shoes, the cauldron. Now, you also know that I love to put some sparkle accents in every piece I do now with Petite Treasure Braid. So I was like, okay, where am I going to put some green accents? And the 2 colors of green that I have, perfect. The darker green, the lighter green. These work really well. I think I'm going to do her shoelaces and her shoelaces and her shoes. Yes. The steam from the cauldron. And then that might be it. Maybe one of the potion bottles or maybe the candle. Like I'll figure it out as I get to stitching these items. But I love this piece so much, and yeah, I feel like I need to stitch something to completion because the last couple pieces just haven't worked out. But that's okay. That's okay. Now, when I stitch a new project, I also like to change up my needle minders. I'm moving stuff around here. I like to change up my needle minders on my board. So here are the ones that I put on the board for stitching this new project, which I will be able to start today. So I'll get you my pretty. This is wood needle minder. I love the scarlet letter one. I forget where I got these. This one I've had for a long time. They had a bunch of book titles. This one I've had for a long time too. The leaf that's glittery. Trick or treat. That one says, coffee helps me mimic socially acceptable behavior. This is probably my favorite needle minder of all time because autumn truly is my favorite. I have had this one for a really, really long time. I think even older than some of these. And then this last one says, oh, you don't like me? I'm going to need a minute to recover from the tragedy. But yeah, I have a lot of needle minders, so I try to switch them out every time. So I did stitch yesterday. I stitched on that sassy lady and I was able to find a good new show to watch because I've gotten to the point where I don't want to keep watching things that I have seen before. I want to watch new stuff. So there is a series. It has 6 episodes. It is called The Girlfriend. It's on Amazon Prime and it stars Robin Wright. Love her. And I think she even produced this series. It's so good. It's so good because it does it does a section in the perspective of the mom, who is Robin Wright. And then it does the exact same scenario, but in the perspective of the girlfriend. I love when stuff is done like that. It's done very, very well. I am on episode 3, so I got done because they're like 45, 50 minutes episodes. So it's essentially like watching a 6-hour movie. Really good though. Highly recommend if you like the kind of suspense mystery kind of thing. But yeah, that's all I have. So this will be the last clip for the vlog, and I'm actually going to put it up there today as soon as I get it processed. So thank you so much for, if you watched all the way through, hanging out with me whenever you have watched this. I hope you guys all have a safe and fun Halloween if you celebrate it. And also have a good November. Have a good Thanksgiving. I will see you at the end of the month.